Welcome, disciples of the internet, to the second installment of my series where I intend to replicate all 90 levels of Super Mario Bros. 3 and Mario Maker 2. If you haven't seen the first video, make sure to click on the handy reference card in the corner of your screen to view it. This video will cover the second desert world of Mario 3 and all 9 levels that lay within. One more preliminary statement before the building begins, however, make sure to subscribe and you'll receive the benefits such as unlabeled cans of jelly arriving at your doorstep. 2-1. Not even a few seconds into the level and we are already faced with a discrepancy. There is an uneven collage of blocks that hold a few micro Goombas that jump on Mario's head. They are called, Pile Driver Mini Goombas. Since Nintendo's too cowardly to add the Pile Driver Mini Goombas, I just replaced them with Goombrats as they stay in the exact same location, making it so they essentially serve the exact same gameplay purpose as jumping on a brick Goomba. After a few more forced Goombrats, the game throws another curveball our way, which is the Fire Snake, a chain of lava bubbles that majestically jumps across the desert sands. Mario Maker 2, however, allows us to have the bargain bin version of one lava bubble riding across some awkwardly looking misplaced chains. Shortly after the first Fire Snake is a box made from purple pipes that is actually surprisingly replicable through using ground blocks that are one block thin and not touching the ground. The only issue is that there's a texture difference between the base of the purple pipes, but other than that there is no gameplay difference. Before the second instance of purple pipes is an invisible note block. We have invisible blocks in Mario Maker 2, but only of the question mark variety. 2-1 also has two different sub-areas that have a completely black background, which isn't really a theme, so I just reused the underground texture like I have done in World 1. In one of these sub-areas are invisible coins, ones that only appear when you hit a P-switch. Since they have no inclusion in Mario Maker 2, substituting them with blocks that will turn into coins anyway is a decent replacement. 2-2, the start of this level features some unattainable quicksand that for now I just elected to replace with basic desert sand, and another bump block that was switched out for a generic question block. But halfway into the level, the main gimmick shows itself to be a lift ride over a desert oasis. Usually I just replace the water with some blue colored blocks, but since this mechanic is so necessary to the level, I put a pipe shortly after the quicksand section that led the player to the jungle theme that includes water. It serves its gameplay purpose fine, the only problem being that the jungle theme for Mario 3 and Mario Maker 2 sucks hard. It's just a boring background with the ground texture just being various sizes of pipes. Nothing could be more boring. I also need to replace the green paratroopers with their red variants so they wouldn't just fall into the water. 2-Fortress takes place in a dark stronghold made of stone, but for Mario Maker 2, all of our castle and fortress levels need to look the same anyway, so there's going to be a pool of lava at the bottom of the screen even though there's none to be found in the original level. Because of the NES's wacky color palette system, the thwomps in this level are also blue, which in my opinion is actually much more visually striking than the thwomps always being static gray. Some enemies in Mario 3 seem to be much stronger than their Mario Maker 2 versions. For example, the boos in the original level relentlessly hunt Mario down the second he thinks about turning away, while in Mario Maker 2 they don't even pose a realistic threat. In the original level, there is a pipe that once you enter, the screen scrolls upward and you continue the stage. But for our purposes, we have to send Mario to a new sub-area and pretend that Mario is in the same room. After a dash through a few thwomps, Mario finds himself in a room with spiky platforms that move up and down. Just like the last video, the best option is to keep the spikes still and give the player the real hard challenge of not accidentally pressing the jump button. Through another door is the gray Boom Boom, who gives us an orb that finishes the level. Instead, we can just give Mario a key that leads to a door that leads him to a pipe that leads him to the axe. 2-3 features a lot of semi-solids, which makes it prevalent that in Mario Maker 2, semi-solids cannot be 2 blocks tall. This does not change anything about the gameplay, but it does make the pyramids in the level look a tad bit strange. 2-3 also includes 4 fire snakes that must be replaced with a couple of fire bubbles on chains. Since 2-3 includes so many semi-solids, the game actually stopped me from including all of them in the level, so I had to cave in and remove one of them in the level. His sacrifice will not be in vain. Other than the Pile Driver Mini Goombas and the invisible note blocks, there's not much more of note, but since the player must be in the first subworld in order to finish the level, another classic interlude section was needed. 2-Quicksand. Super Mario Bros. 3 likes to do this thing where instead of simply naming all levels with numbers, some levels are represented with symbols such as piranha plants and pyramids. This is our first example of that being 2-Quicksand. Since quicksand is such an integral part of the level, I could not just simply replace it with the basic desert ground like I've been doing, so I filled the pits of quicksand with a bunch of donut blocks. Later, there is a tornado that we can replace with a twister that is held in place with a few two-way doors. And thankfully, the Angry Sun is easily provided to us through the level editor. 2-4 is a level consisting of two major paths, one top path and one bottom path. Both paths use a lot of palm trees in specific places, but sadly the location of the background palm trees is not something I can control in the Mario Maker 2 editor. In the bottom row, there are also more boomerang burrows, and as I mentioned in the previous video, Mario Maker 2 does not respect the noble bro lineage. In the top path, there is a big lake of water that is replaced with a few ice blocks and a bunch of currently on-off blocks, with a green Cheep Cheep that is perpetually trapped there on a chain for the rest of eternity. 2-5. This level introduces us to the chain chomps, and before they got their little stump, they were simply attached to a basic hard block. Later, there's a seemingly pointless pool of water and the special orange vine. After riding this orange vine, there's another unique sub-area which we can replace with another basic underground section. And other than that, this level is actually quite tame when it comes to acting similar to the original game. 2-Pyramid, another not numbered symbol-oriented level that is, this time, centered around a desert pyramid. The level starts off with a player entering a pyramid through a semi-solid block, and for Mario Maker 2, I increased the height of the pyramid just to make sure the player could not jump behind it and get stuck. Since pipes are the only method of getting to the sub-area, everyone's favorite method of adding an interlude section must be employed. Since the player also starts the pyramid sub-area through a door, yet another interlude section is needed in order to finally get the player inside the pyramid. For the pyramid itself in the original game, it takes on a brown underground theme, while in Mario Maker 2, we must make the inside of the pyramid blue. The most prevalent issue with this level is the slopes, which stick out in odd places and make replicating the original level a chore. One more thing, in Mario 3, pipes only work in one direction, so if you enter a sub-area, you have to enter out of a different pipe. But in Mario Maker 2, you can go in and out of the pipe all you want. This hasn't posed the biggest threat to gameplay yet, but I just want to keep an eye on it if it ever becomes a problem in the future. 2-Airship. A lot of the airships in Mario Bros. 3 have different color palettes. In this case, World 2's airship is green. But for this project, all airships will be the same basic brown. In the background of this airship, you can see chains that link the different parts of the airship together. I replaced this with the basic Mario 2 chains, and it doesn't look half bad. In Mario 3, there is a cannon that is part of the walls of the airship and shoots diagonally. To replace this, I hollowed out a 2x2 section of the ship and placed a single cannon in that spot, and essentially achieves the same gameplay purpose. Since the bullet bill blasters are 2 blocks tall in Mario Maker 2, some finessing was needed in order to make sure the cannons were in the exact same positions as the original. Since basic auto-scroll will not be enough for this airship, I used the custom auto-scroll feature to make the camera bob up and down as the level progresses. The battle with Morton was conducted in the same way I set up Larry's boss fight, but for the very end I tried to replicate the in-game cutscene of Mario falling from the sky after he grabs the wand. So that was all 9 levels of World 2 of Super Mario Bros. 3 represented in Mario Maker 2. At the end of this series I will rank all levels based on their faithfulness to the original, but for now I will just rank all of the levels in this world. Number 9, 2-Fortress. Number 8, 2-4. Number 7, 2-Pyramid. Number 6, 2-Airship. Number 5, 2-3. Number 4, 2-2. Number 3, 2-1. Number 2, 2-Quicksand. Number 1, 2-5. That's all of the levels in World 2 ranked from least to most faithful in Mario Maker 2. Eventually I will recreate future worlds and the final ranking of every level, but until then, stick around.